Bada bing, bada boom. The people's champ is back in your room. Thank you for joining me tonight with a very special guest. Tonight, a very special guest, a real boss, if you will, the CEO and founder of Articulated Comic Book Art, Boog. Let's welcome him to the show.
Yo, what's up, man?
How's it going?
It's going. Feeling pretty good. How's everything with you?
Good. It's been such a long time. This is the first time we've talked in like forever, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Semi face to face, but we've had some passing messages here and there. But being that you are a OG and I'm a OG, this is long overdue for real.
Yes, sir. Now, before we get into anything, why don't you introduce yourself for the people that are new to the internet?
All right. So my name is Kendall Gray, but everybody on the net and the collecting and displaying community call me Boog, Boog ACBA. So I'm a lifelong collector. Been collecting since I was a kid. Always been into displaying figures and doing setups and stuff like that. But in 2002, sometime when Marvel Legends dropped, I really got back into collecting heavy and into displaying heavy, and basically just spearheaded the movement in which you see toy photography has been popularized basically now. So you see a lot of toy photographers all over the world, a lot of people doing their thing. A lot of people got put on to collecting through seeing cool toy photography and setups and stuff like that. And we in kind of a really great moment right now in terms of all of the wonderful art that's out there and all of the people doing their thing. So our little small community that started on YouTube almost 13 years ago now, maybe almost 14 years ago now, again, pretty much laid the groundwork for everything that's going on right now in the collecting community,
Yeah, and that's something I kind of wanted to talk about. I think everybody knows that you're synonymous with ACBA, and I think everybody pretty much knows ACBA now. What I really want to talk about is the YouTube days before ACBA.
Yep.
Like, how was that? Like, how did you guys meet up? How did you guys put it together? What is the origin story on those YouTube days?
Well, in the early days, I was very early on. I was just doing setups on a table next to my bed, basically, but searching every day for people on the internet. I had got this is all around the time where I moved into my first apartment. I had just got a PC. So I was searching every day for other people that may be into displaying. And, I came across a few like forums and stuff like that, but it wasn't until I got to YouTube that I was like, okay, I see what's going on now. I came across a guy, his name was Tony the Beaner, or his screen name on YouTube was Tony the Beaner. He still has videos up there. He's still in the community. Shout out to Abe. His real name is Abe, actually. But he had up a video on his channel. He's primarily X-Men Marvel Legends collector. So, he was into Marvel Legends. I saw that, but he had primarily X-Men, and he had a setup, and the way that he posed the figures and everything just looked so great and so similar to what I had been doing. And I was like, oh shit, this is dope. And I came across his channel, and I think I had sent him a message. Back in those days, we would like message each other on YouTube all the time. Basically, we would communicate all the time. I think I had sent him a message or commented on the video or something like that. And then not too long after that, I came across Shartimus Prime's channel, and he had a setup with all of his Spider-Man figures, and they were like pinned up on the ceiling, and the way he posed the figures too was very similar to the same thing. And I was like, okay, these two guys get it. They know what's what. And not too long after that, I put up my first video on YouTube. It was just a collection video, but that got a lot of people kind of clamoring on YouTube, and we all started communicating and sharing videos every day. The community was so small at that point that, like, when you put something up on YouTube, like, only maybe like 50 to 100 people were going to see it at that time. We were like literally just sharing stuff in our circle. Yeah, we were putting it on the net and putting it on the internet, but the community was so small at that time that it was just, you were just putting it up for a very small group at that time. And yeah, we just would do new setups every day and share haul videos. And at that time, you could do like video responses to other people's videos and stuff. And it was a very close, tight knit community at that time. We started calling ourselves the Marvel Legends community during this time. And then at some point, we started calling our setups art. And then I pretty much came up with the term articulated art to describe what we were doing. And then at some point, it just the name articulated comic book art just came to me. But to get back to your initial question, during that time, it was all video based. It was YouTube. So we were just pretty much video recording our setups. We didn't move into where it is now with a lot of actual photography. It was all just doing raw setups, a lot of fight scenes, a lot of like action scenes, and just recording them and putting music to it and stuff like that. That's pretty much how the ACBA World Tournament was birthed, out of that sort of style of displaying, basically. But yeah, we started coining a bunch of different terms to describe different types of techniques. And like, again, it was a wonderful time to be a part of all of that. And, it was a lot of different people that may not be so recognized and well known right now that helped build all of that and help do all of that and help come up with these terms and help push that, that display life, basically. So, again, it was only maybe 25, 30, 40 people at that time. It went up to like 50, 100 people, something like that. And then at some point over the years, we migrated over to Facebook, excuse me, and started the ACBA Facebook group. And then that's when things really, really took off, though. But I do kind of miss those really intimate days where it was just, a select few of us, and we were really trying to put this thing on the map during that time. Yeah.
Yeah, because now you got over like 10,000 members in ACBA and on Instagram.
Yeah, and our group and the Instagram group is like 13,000 members or something like that. They are literally hundreds of artists on Instagram. There are other groups on Facebook. We were literally the first group of our kind on Facebook too. So we were the first like display group, like a group solely primarily for displaying and for toy photography. A lot of groups followed, and right now it's just a really popular thing to actually play with your toys and set them up and take pictures and stuff like that. It's been a good relationship that we've had with the industry. It's been this great kind of symbiotic relationship, being that we're helping to push that product and sell a lot of that stuff. They're getting a lot of free marketing and promotion by just people just having fun with their toys.
Yeah, so you would say it's cool to be a poser then?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
No, for sure. The toy industry would be dumb not to, connect with these groups, specifically ACBA, when they can promote, like you said, free marketing. Especially since most of us like Marvel Legends and things like that.
Yeah, Marvel Legends was the catalyst for all of this. Like, if it wasn't for Marvel Legends coming out in those days and really like piquing my interest or sparking up something in me, then maybe that community would have never started. Maybe, Marvel Legends wouldn't have gotten attention that it did get and set things in motion for all these other companies to start really taking notice and doing their thing and doing new engineering with the figures and new articulation and really trying to cater to that crowd. Marvel Legends is really what set the industry on fire and lit a fire under all these other companies' asses, basically. So
No, I totally
You know,
agree.
we got to give those guys over there, the creators, the people that were making figures and stuff, the Vonners and Dave Cortez and Jesse Falcon and all of those dudes that were working on Legends during the early time. You know, Dwight. You know.
Oh yeah, I remember picking up the first wave at Toys R Us, and I was completely
Hmm.
floored. I almost passed out. I saw this and I
Yeah.
was like, "What the hell is this?" Finally,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
good-looking figure, and then with all these points of articulation, so I can have him do whatever I want him to do. I was blown away.
Yeah, me too. Same thing. It was the same thing. It was like, when I was a kid, I was always thinking like, yo, if these figures, if these GI Joes just had more articulation, maybe I didn't even know the term articulation at that time, but I knew that I wanted them to move more and be able to do, things that I saw in the cartoon or in a comic book or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
sometimes the companies forget that even though you're like a little kid, you still know what you want to do with your figures.
right.
Articulation, yeah. When I had my Joes, when they came out with the swivel arm grip, I was blown away with that because they
Yeah.
could actually hold their guns, a different way. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I think sometimes they forget that kids want to actually play with their figures. They don't want those 5 points of articulation figures.
Hmm. Yeah, so yeah, that sort of innovation, and especially as it relates to domestic stuff on our side. The Japanese companies were kind of out there early in terms of articulation. Advanced articulation or what have you. I can remember early on in those times picking up some import stuff and not even really knowing about the character or anything, but just kind of in awe at how cool it looked and how well articulated it was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I picked up a lot of like early like imports that I probably should have held on to and didn't even realize what I had.
Yeah. And do you miss those days of those raw displays? Because now it seems like we're using a lot of different lights, like the loom cubes, you're using fog machines. But do you miss like just putting stuff out there on the table and just making something happen?
I do, and it's a weird thing happening right now, especially on Instagram with a lot of these like really raw, just like posing shots of people like holding figures in hand and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Part of me kind of hates that shit, but part of me is just like, you know what? This is really actually the essence of this all because for any good display, the foundation is great posing. You gotta be able to pose to play as far as displaying goes. Um, so those type of things that I see sometimes, they kind of annoy me in a sense where it's just like, damn, like 5,000, 6,000 people hit like on this, and there is another picture that they're gonna come to, and they're scrolling right below this one that was like took hours or days to set up or something like that, and they're gonna scroll past that shit. Um, but again, I do respect a lot of the people taking a lot of care and effort to really pose the figures and really do something special and unique and really try to replicate things that we've seen in the comic books. So I do love that. I do love that aspect of it, the raw posing of it. So yeah, in short, I do kind of miss those days, and I try to get back to some of that sometimes with just some like white hot shots or something like that. But I do miss it though.
Speaking of comics, you're somewhat of a comic book aficionado.
A little bit.
Now, do you get a lot of inspiration from comics? Like, where do you get your inspiration from? Like, what gets you going? Saying, "Damn, I need to get a shot going." Like, this is something that makes you want to pick up that camera.
Absolutely. Comic books, the essence of ACBA is drawing that inspiration directly from the comic books. So yes, a lot of comic book reading, a lot of going back to old comic books that I read as a kid that I might have like forgot about. But sometimes just going in a group and just kind of just getting lost in the hundreds and hundreds of pictures that get put up every day, and just kind of looking at other people's stuff and getting inspired by that. You know, I spend a lot of time online just kind of looking at other people's setups and stuff like that. Partially because I don't want to like bite nobody's shit too. So like I'm looking at everything so I could like, you know, see what I could do that's totally different, but still appreciating all of the stuff that's out there. But yeah, comic books would be number one, and then just kind of looking at everybody else's setups is a very close second.
Now, the homie Nick Steele wants to know how you feel about people using Photoshop on a shot they could have possibly done tangibly.
Well, you know, I'm always going to be a 100% tangible artist. I'm never going to do anything to digitally add or remove anything from a shot. Now, with the advancement of cameras and filters, and like you said, the fog machine and all of these different things, and all of these really, really creative, smart people coming up with all of these different techniques, there really is no reason that you have to Photoshop anything for the most part. I could see some things as far as like maybe like promotional stuff for some company or something. They may want it to be a certain way, but I found that there are so many unique and creative ways to do just about anything that it's probably not necessary. And I respect you more as an artist, and I respect your mind more when you are just like coming up with some totally new technique, some totally new way to do something tangibly. I just saw a picture in a group tonight, and this is a technique that I've seen before, where people use like a foam board base so they can literally implant some type of stand or something into the base to have the figures stay in there. You know, people use flight stands and just hide them and do different things. But shout out to, I think, Mark Santos. He put up a Batman shot earlier today that was just like super dynamic. And the way he hid the stands was just perfect. And it's just like, it looks magical. It looks like Photoshop. So I'm always going to respect you when it's so good, it looks like Photoshop. And that's what it's going to be. ACBA is always going to be about tangible displaying. I'm going to give the tangible artist more respect all the time. So what up, Omar V?
And Nick, you didn't ask me, but I'm gonna tell you my opinion on it. I think Photoshop is dumb when you're doing ACBA, because to me that's not in the playbook of ACBA. I think it's stupid and it shouldn't be used in ACBA. I like it, you know, if I see it on Instagram or something else, yeah. You know, I'll give you props for that, because I know doing good Photoshop does take skills, you know. And I don't mind seeing it on there, but when you bring it into ACBA, I think it's kind of dumb, because that's not really what it's about, to me anyways. I think it's more about the display factor and actually making things tangible. So Photoshop is dumb. Thank you very much.
And the other thing too, though, is that in the very early days, as far as like the business side of ACBA, I really wanted it to be like a collective of artists that do like store displays and window displays and setups for museums and stuff like that. And it just be a collective, whereas a shop in DC could hit you up and be like, you know, I need this for this event or whatever the case may be. And we'd be like, all right, yeah, we got a couple of artists in DC that you could connect with, or whatever city it is, you know? So in that regard, anything that you're going to set up that people are going to see, there's no way to Photoshop real life. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. However you see it in person should be how you see it in camera or in video or whatever the case may be. And that was the core like principle of ACBA, that tangible, you know, raw displaying. But yeah, and again, like I said, with all of these like super creative people, there really is no reason, man. Somebody's coming up with a new idea and a new technique every day on how to do some shit that looks Photoshop. You know what I mean? But it's so good that it's not, you know?
I don't know if I ever told you, but there a while back, I don't know, a few years ago, there was a shop by me. It's a toy shop by me.
Mhm.
They actually had an ACBA display inside their shop for the longest time. Um, I think they used. I think it was Marvel Legends. Yeah, I think it was Marvel
I
Legends. It
feel like
had,
you did show me that. I like vaguely remember that. And that's kind of how I gotta like got kind of known to some people back in the day, was that Forbidden Planet here in New York City allowed me to do a display. And I did this big display with a bunch of hand ninjas and stuff in the shop. And it was up there for quite a while in the shop. And people would always come in and ask and be like, yo, this is so cool. And that brought a lot of people into onto YouTube as well. That was like a big moment. So yeah, shout out to Forbidden Planet. I still frequent Forbidden Planet here in New York all the time. Um, but yeah, I'd love for us to have some type of actual exhibit somewhere, and really, they need a Marvel Legends museum or some shit, and just let artists from all over the world come in there and go crazy and do some crazy setups.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Um, with that display, he had. I don't remember. I don't know who the artist was. I don't know who it was, but he
Hmm.
actually had a little paragraph written out right there on the display, letting you know that what articulated comic book art was about.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, he actually had a little thing, said what it was about. He mentioned you. I think he probably had your YouTube on there too. So it told the whole story of ACBA, like why this display was in the shop.
Hmm.
So I thought that was really cool. So that brought, I think, maybe helped, put some eyes on ACBA over here.
Yeah, man. And everybody who's somebody right now at one point in time was definitely in the ACBA group or came from the YouTube days. Everybody has trained in a group at some point or learned techniques and skills from somebody who's trained in a group. There's 6 degrees of separation in terms of like the founding members of ACBA and everybody out there doing their thing right now. Even if you far removed and you were never in a group or on YouTube, you know what we did on YouTube and in the group inspired you to do what you're doing right now, 1,000%. So
Now, now that you brought that up, low key, do you see people that are, I don't want to say famous or big, and they were in the ACBA, but now they never ever mention ACBA, and you're just like, yeah, you were in this group.
yeah, all the time,
I know
all
where you're
the
from.
time. It's, yeah, it's people that I might not even be like on good terms with or cool with or whatever the case may be, but they can't deny any of the shit that I'm saying right here. And I wouldn't take anything away from them either as being somebody who helped put all of the shit on the map too. You know what I mean? So it's plenty of people like that. I mean, anybody could name anybody, and I could tell you where they came from or how they started or whatever the case may be. And a lot of people were able to turn this hobby and this passion into dollars for themselves and make it start some type of business from doing this stuff. All of these customizers that are out here, all of these like 3D printers and people doing like neck peg extensions and wrist extensions and like all of these different things that are helping the machine to continue to go. All of these little cogs of the machine, basically. So it is what it is. That all came from YouTube. That no matter what,
Yep.
that was the birthing point. So people can't deny that shit. That's what it is.
Yeah. So thank you for letting me sell dioramas. So
Right.
thank you. If it wasn't for ACBA, I wouldn't be making dioramas, and
Mhm.
which in turn I wouldn't be selling dioramas. So
Yeah. And
ACBA definitely helped me on that.
that was a huge thing too. Alongside the ACBA group, we have a group on Facebook called Dio Structure, which was originally put together as a tribute to Ogun Rio, who was literally the first person I ever bought a diorama from. He's probably one of the best builders I've ever seen. He's no longer with us. He passed away. Rest in peace to him. But he is the one that also kickstarted this whole craze of people building and selling dioramas, and that works in tandem with everything that all of the display artists are doing. Maybe I just know how to pose my ass off and use a camera. That doesn't mean I know how to build a fucking diorama, though. You know what I mean? So I gotta go to somebody for that. I gotta work with somebody in terms of that. And it's all this wonderful, like, symbiotic world of art. Like, you know what I mean? Building a diorama, that's so artistic. That's so insane to put together something like that, and something that could be utilized for these little miniature worlds that we are photographing on these little miniature movie sets. Like, the shit is just wonderful to me still to this day. Like, I'm like a kid about this whole thing, But yeah, the diorama aspect of it has been huge. And again, that's the thing that came directly out of ACBA based on Ogun. And, he loved this shit. He loved the group. He loved everything about it. He saw the vision. He saw where it could go. And he was a trailblazer at this shit. And it's because of him that anybody that's building dioramas right now for display artists, it's because of him. 1000%.
Yeah, he was probably the first person that I saw make dioramas or have a display, I think. And that's what led me to like YouTube to try to find, how do you make this stuff?
Right.
That's when I found Bob the Odd,
mm-hmm.
and I just started eating up all his videos, and then just started to just try stuff on my own,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Shout out to Bob the Odd. That's another person that was integral in all of this stuff that's happening, especially as it relates to dioramas. And he shared a lot of tips and tricks and tactics with everybody. He was active on YouTube for a little while too. A lot of people just literally just sharing game. Like, that's really what it was about. Like, I figured out how to do this really cool thing, and I want mad people to know about it and not being stingy with the information, basically.
Smash Lab wants to know if you've ever tried to build a dio yourself.
I have not. I don't know if I have the patience for it, honestly. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's just kind of a silly thing to say, because doing a setup takes a lot of patience too. Mm-hmm. So, no, I haven't. I would like to. I'd like to try for sure. But I haven't. But even sometimes just going in dio structure and just kind of scrolling and getting lost in what the guys are doing over there, it's just like, wow, like this, that is crazy. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of insane stuff going on right now.
For sure.
Especially in every any kind of toy, like from Marvel Legends to the Mythic Legions to every kind of figure, there's some kind of dio that somebody's making for them.
Yep.
So it's nice to see something different than those back alley dios all the time.
I mean, and also in the very early days, before everybody was kind of, spending equal amounts of money on figures that they were on dials and stuff like that, a lot of people was just setting up stuff with just plain poster paper, like, so it's definitely come a long way. And sometimes we go back to the essence and just do a poster paper shot, a white hot shot or whatever. But things have definitely come a very long way.
Now that we've talked about toys, let's get off the subject. What else do you like to do?
I don't know. I mean, at this particular point, this shit is life. But I love sports. My sister's son, my nephew, is playing college football right now. He's got like a very good shot at possibly going pro. So, following that has been pretty interesting, following his whole journey, because he knew what he wanted to do since he was literally like 3 or 4 years old. So it's pretty wild to watch that. So I'm into sports. I'm into football. I'm into basketball. I played a lot of basketball too as a kid. Um, but yeah, the collecting is life right now. That's my number one hobby. It's my passion. Is what I really enjoy doing. But aside from that, I like to get out. I like to be active, work out. I like
Mr.
to.
300 push-ups, this guy
Yeah,
right
no doubt, no doubt. uh, and I love to eat. So you got to work out if you love to eat. So I love to frequent restaurants. I love to travel. You know, that's
I
pretty much
think you
it.
have another passion that you forgot to talk about.
What's that?
I think back in the day, you used to have some bars.
Yeah. No doubt, no doubt. I definitely love music. So yeah, that has been a passion of mine. That's been something that I want to get back into. I definitely want to like put something out for free. Just put out some music. Just a lot of uh, sort of like an introspective into shit that's happened with me for the past 20 years, and it's a lot of stuff that I want to like talk about in music and stuff like that. So I've been a little far removed from that, but yeah, as a younger person, I was definitely doing a lot of music, a lot of rap music.
You want to battle right now?
No, not right now.
All right. I want everybody to see this guy turn me down. See, he turned down my challenge.
What's funny? I just sent shout out to my boy Ed. I just sent him the intro, my newest intro that I recorded because we might actually record a little video for it actually. So like
nice.
a little music video. So
that's
that might be, that might be what I need to get back and start writing again and start actually putting together some complete songs and get a complete project going.
That's why Boog Nice, he stole his name from D Nice. I know he did. Smash Lab wants to know what your top 3 non-superhero movies are.
Oh, you know what's funny? I just said to my daughter the other day because my dad had some old VHS tapes and he had Jackie Brown on VHS.
Right.
I was like, you know what? This is actually probably one of my favorite movies. Just everything about it, just the whole thing, the cast, the acting, the soundtrack is phenomenal. That's a great movie. Another one in my top like non-comic book movies. Godfather 1, obviously. I know that's kind of cliche, but it's a fucking great movie. March of the Wooden Soldiers.
All right. All right. That one threw me off there. All right.
That's a great one too.
Awesome.
Yeah. There's 3. I don't know if it's my top 3, but those are 3 really, really good movies.
Nice. And then I don't know why Star Marvel wants to know what your favorite food is.
Favorite food? I'm an honorary Italian, man. All I wear is sweatsuits and eat pasta, baby. So
there we go. Nice. Hell yeah.
I love Italian food.
Hell yeah. But a question I want to know, since you're a New Yorker, is how awesome is it to live in New York during Christmas?
Christmas time is pretty great. You know what's funny about being a New Yorker? Like we all very New York centric and shit. So like, I feel like a lot of us don't feel right if it's not like cold and possibly snowing when it's Christmas time and shit. Like it's super weird to me for it to be hot and have a Christmas tree up somewhere. Like I don't know. That shit just seems very odd.
That's California.
Yeah, I know. That shit just seems very odd to me. But yeah, Christmas time in New York City, more so as a kid was always magical for sure. As an adult, it's not like you really looking forward to mad gifts and shit like that, or it's more work as an adult. You're doing shit for your kids at that particular point, So, but yeah, it's a pretty great feeling. Everything the city is buzzing. The Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center and all the decorations. And again, it's the weather. It's got to be cold, man. It's got to be cold for Christmas.
Like I've always wanted to go to New York. but more specifically during Christmas time, because I want to live out my fantasy of Home Alone 2. So I want to get lost in New York.
Go to Central Park and fight bums.
Yeah, I want to meet a bum in Central Park and then go hang out in Rockefeller Center.
Yeah,
look at the tree and everything. That's my dream right there.
No, New York is I realize that's another big thing about the community is like all of the relationships over these past 13 years, actually meeting up with people at cons and stuff like that. And the one thing that I always notice is people coming here to New York Comic Con or coming here for whatever reason, they're always like just kind of in awe about how many people are out at one particular time, the tall buildings, like, all of that stuff. I'm always fascinated to see other people fascinated about New York City and shit, Yeah, it's a wild place, man. It's a lot to take in, it's like sensory overload if you're not from here. And then if you are from here, you see so much wild shit all the time that nothing really phases you,
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day I'm gonna go to New York. I just can't.
You definitely have to, man. You definitely have to. You gotta ride the train, you gotta get some pizza, you gotta get a hot dog, you gotta do
I gotta get pizza for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Fold it up. Because we don't really fold it up over here.
Really? I just eat the flat pizza, huh?
Yeah, we don't really. I'm always thick crust. I'm a thick crust kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like it nice and fat. But if I'm in New York, I definitely got to fold it because I don't want to look like some weirdo that doesn't know how to eat their pizza.
Yeah, that's definitely New York style. It's funny though, when I'm like, if I'm eating pizza at home, I don't fold it. But
I'm out in public, I need to fold it.
Yeah, but the thing about New York is that you kind of always on the go. You always on the move. So even eating on the go and figuring out ways to eat on a bus, on a train, and shit like that. Obviously, with COVID and shit now, that's not really something that people do too much now. But back in the day, that was a thing. Trying to figure out how to do everything on the go.
Yeah. Smash Lab with another question: who's your favorite non-Marvel superhero? Not Batman, neither.
Non-Marvel superhero. I don't know. I'm not a huge DC guy. I'm not even going to lie to you and say that I have some like favorite DC character. I don't know. I remember this comic book back in the day called Stormwatch. You remember that?
Yeah, that was Image.
Yes, and it was like a group. It was like I'm really into like military style shit, like, so it was a group of like this special forces team that were tasked with just taking down superpowered threats, but they didn't have any superpowers. So they used a lot of like science and tech and like, crazy weaponry and shit to take down superpowered threats, basically. And that was a fucking dope book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta look that up again and read some of those early issues. It had got a little like ridiculous towards the end before it fell off, but like some of those early issues were pretty dope.
Like I think once DC bought Wildstorm, I think Stormwatch came back for a little bit, but it wasn't that team.
Yeah, it wasn't special. It just wasn't. It wasn't the same. Yeah, I do remember that.
What is that? That's my shit. Which one? What, Image? I don't know. Smash Up said that's my shit, but I don't know what he's talking about. I'm assuming he's talking about Image. I don't know. Gosh, I just can't stop thinking about New York now.
You gotta come out here, man. You gotta make it out to New York.
If I make it out, I'm definitely gonna hit you up.
Yeah, for sure.
Show me the sights.
Yeah, you can come to the city and not holler at me, man. You gotta check it.
And then, how weird is it for you to talk to other people? That do I sound like I have an accent? Like some people, like from New York, they seem like they have that heavy accent sometimes. You don't. I don't know. That's weird. You don't have. You don't have.
It depends. The accents in New York are like they vary, uh, according to region and stuff like that. And also, um, it depends on. I- With me, I guess it depends on if I'm with my like really like hood New York friends or not. If you hear the accent, and you would only hear it on like certain like words and stuff like that. But I feel like there's people close to me. Like my sister has like a very Harlem, like New York accent or whatever, and that's my sister. Like, but we sound very different. And then you got that really like um, Brooklyn sort of like stereotypical New York accent
Mhm.
for people in Brooklyn, or even like up in Yonkers or something like that. Like Jadakiss has a very strong New York accent. But yeah, I guess it just depends on the region or whatever, or when you want to turn it on or off.
And is there's like I guess it's a stereotype, or if you will. Um, is it true that pretty much everybody from New York or from the East Coast hates New Jersey?
I don't know that that's I don't know that that's true. I mean, we always used to think that New Jersey was just like fake New York, and like New Jersey wanted to be like New York so bad, but New Jersey has its own sort of like decent like style and like areas, and also like New Yorkers would sometimes think that like people in Jersey were like punks or something like that, but New Jersey has some fucking really hard areas too. So yeah, I feel like it was more like that back in the day. I think as like and probably music has been a factor in this, and kind of like merging a lot of different cities and styles and different things like that. It's not different styles and stuff like that are not as distinctive now because of music, and everybody's kind of like trying to do the same thing, at least in the hip hop world. So I don't feel like the hate for other cities and stuff like that is as prevalent
Yeah, as
anymore.
it was before.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie though, but when I saw Jersey Shore, I totally thought I could fit in with them. Because I'm like a Guido, but like out in, well, I was back in the day over here in the West Coast. I
Yeah.
totally thought I could hang out with them.
You do have a slight Cali West Coast accent though, for sure.
Okay, all right. See, Star Mall said I'm in Chicago, so what do I know? He doesn't. He says I don't. That you kind of sound like you have an accent, but I don't. But
Well, if he's in Chicago, he's probably definitely got some type of accent.
Chicago. I don't even know how to do Chicago one, but I know you guys got one.
Yeah, for sure.
So you say you like music. So
Mhm.
hip hop has always been your main thing. Is that the only thing you listen to, or are
No,
you?
no, not at all. I mean, when I was growing up, though, my dad hated hip hop music, so we weren't even allowed to play it in the house, or at least not openly play it. Like you would have to have on headphones or something like that. So my dad played a lot of different music, anything but hip hop. He played a lot of classical, jazz, um salsa, like literally every type of music. So we were exposed to a lot of different music when I was a kid. And he would like on a Saturday night or something like that, he plays the drums too. So he would just like he had a crazy sound system all the time since I could remember, and he would just turn up the music really loud on a Saturday night, have his little sip, have a drink or something like that, play the drums, and like just play all of this different type of music and shit. So like 12, 1 in the morning and shit like that. So
It's
uh,
awesome.
yeah, I grew up listening to a lot of different things, man. A lot of oldies, a lot of like Miles Davis, and just everything, man. Just everything you could think of besides hip hop.
That's what that's what I try to do with my kids, is try to kind of expose them to different music.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them I play a lot of stuff, and I tell them when you get to high school, you're gonna ask me about this. I
Right.
know you are.
Yep. Yep. For sure.
But I'll play 80s music. They hate 80s music. But the one they really like, and I'm glad they like, because I like him a lot, is they like Michael Jackson.
Oh, nice, nice. I've been trying to put my daughter onto Michael Jackson for like the past like year. She listens to a lot of weird music. She doesn't really listen to hip hop at all. She doesn't really like it at all. But she listens to a lot of like weird stuff. I've been trying to put her on to some other stuff. But yeah, you can't go wrong with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. They hate everything else that I play for them, but you know, it's something about Michael. They're like, okay, you can leave it on.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, all right. I'm like, but the proudest moment was because I'll listen to over here. We have K Day, which is hip hop from the 90s to 2000s. They play that kind of hip hop. And sometimes they'll do 80s too. We were listening to Digital Underground was on, and it was a Humpty Dance. And my proud moment was one of my daughters asked me, "Can you show me how to do the Humpty Dance?" I said, "It would be my pleasure to show you how to do the Humpty Dance." So that was kind of a cool moment.
So rest in peace to Shock G, actually. Yeah, man. So yeah, you know, the thing about music is like music is all about frequencies and shit like that. So, you know, as we get older and stuff like that, we don't want to be on the certain frequency that like rap and hip hop puts you on. Like sometimes you want to be on that shit if you want to like be in a bar, you want to work out or like fight. You know what I'm saying? Like 9 times out of 10, you want to be on a totally different frequency, and that, you know, that's not the music that's going to get you where you want to be, you know.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm not gonna lie, over here we have one of the stations plays Christmas music 24/7 now for the whole month.
Oh God,
I'm listening to it because I love Christmas. I can't help myself. So I'll listen to it like pretty much all day. Like I'm in the car, I'll listen to Christmas music. Turn off Mariah. Mariah, you can do it. You're the queen of Christmas now. You know, I'll listen to it. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, Mariah Carey is getting a lot of burn in the month of December.
Oh yeah, she's like, bring me those checks. Oh yeah, keep playing it. Give me those checks. You know, people staring at me. You know, but it's all right. It's all right. I don't mind. You know, People's Champ doesn't care. Shoot, looks like we're coming up to the hour almost. I know you're a busy guy. Got a lot of things to do. Got to take care of ACBA and all.
No doubt, no doubt. What was I going to tell you? Well, you asked me if I had anything going on right now. Mm-hmm. Nothing really special going on right now, but you know, I just want to invite people to find me on YouTube. You know, I have since I guess for the past maybe like 4 or 5 years, really taken a more active approach to actually doing reviews and stuff like that, and not just strictly display videos on YouTube. So you know, I've been pretty consistently putting up review videos and what have you. So anybody watching now, if you haven't ever checked me out on YouTube, then you can find me on YouTube under Boog _ACBA BOOG _ACBA. The same moniker on Instagram. And yeah, man, I would invite anybody who was semi-interested about doing anything in terms of displaying to come join us on Facebook. We've got 4 groups on Facebook that we're pretty active in. The main ACBA group, Articulated Comedy Avant-Garde, is the dial structure group for diorama building. There is the Grind, which is a much more kind of like focused group to kind of get your skills up to par and get everything situated before you go and post on the main page or on your Instagram or what have you. And then there's Plastic and Paint, where we just in there kind of hanging out, like, you know, just talking shit and having some laughs and sharing when stuff goes up for pre-order and just literally just hanging out with people online. So yeah, the community has been great, man. It's been the community aspect of this all has been the big draw. You know, aside from obviously the art, just being able to chop it up with people has been amazing. Chop it up with people that are into what you're into. You know, like-minded people and people that have a passion for the same things you do. That's that's when the internet is being used in the right way. You know.
And I would say definitely put yourself out there. Join those groups and talk to people and ask them questions. I'm glad 7962 agrees. But yeah, I have to say I was kind of like a lurker, I guess, at first, and then I just started, asking people questions on, how do you do this, or what do you think about this? Definitely jump in and just start putting yourself out there. I think you'll enjoy it more than just sitting back on the sidelines and just being active.
And you'd be surprised at what you could do, and what your capabilities are, what your creative mind is like. Um, that has been really cool too, to see somebody kind of like break out of their shell, to see somebody that was like putting up some really awful shit at first, and to be like putting up some fire right now. Like that's crazy. It's crazy to see people's transformation, to see people's like, you know I always say everybody who is a display artist, who is an ACBA, we all Goku. We all just keep trying to like level up and level up and level up. There's no ceiling. Like,
And don't be scared, because you might say, "Oh, this guy's a big guy. This guy's a famous guy." Don't be scared. I'll talk to anybody. You can ask questions.
Yeah.
The DMC is for everyone.
That's right.
I'm sure Boog will help you too. Don't be scared to ask the big shots, for help, for pointers.
And that's another thing that's great about this too, is that it puts everybody on a level playing field. It's not like you can't just talk to any one of these people, because if you're in a group with them, you could easily just comment on their shit, or tag them and ask them something, or send them a message, or whatever the case may be. Like, I get like a lot of messages every day. Like a good portion of my day is spent on just kind of chopping it up with people, just talking to people, and not really even about like sharing any tips or anything like that. Sometimes it is, but sometimes people just want to like talk, just just shoot the shit, and I don't turn anybody away. I don't turn anybody down. I talk to everybody. So,
and that goes to my next point. Before we leave, we need to say why Boog is such an amazing friend. I think the main thing, as he just said it, is even though he's a famous guy for being the founder of ACBA, he has no problem talking to you or answering your questions. Super friendly guy, and is always spreading comic book awareness with ACBA. So it can't get any better than that.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
The DMC loves people who promote comics, promote toys, promote nerd shit. Yeah, no and it doesn't get any better than ACBA.
No doubt. That's
for sure.
It's literally in the name. So that's it's always going to be that way, But yeah, for sure. I like I said, I don't turn anybody away, and like I also realize, talking with a lot of people over the years and just interacting with so many different type of people, different type of personalities and stuff like that, we draw a lot of conclusions in our mind about how we think somebody is, or how they may react to something, or we interpret things in really fucked up ways sometimes. So the best thing you could possibly do with anybody is just talk to them, no matter what. Like, don't assume, don't think that you have it all figured out. If there's any misconception about anything, you can always hit me up. Like,
that's what I was saying. I'm gonna say that sometimes you get a lot of flack, for certain things, but you are always open to discussion, which I think a lot of people aren't. But you're always willing to talk. If you have a problem with me, or you have a problem with this, or you want to know something, just ask me. It's not a problem.
Right.
And I think that openness is something that I definitely like, and I know, and a lot of people also admire too, is your openness to just talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
No bullshit and going running around the corner. Just come at me, ask me, what is the problem here?
Right. And I'm not I I know how to humble myself, and sometimes I'll be wrong. If somebody comes and they present an argument as to why I might have been my approach to something or what I said or whatever may be wrong, I'm totally open to being wrong and apologizing if I need to and setting the record straight. Like, this is supposed to be sort of like positive experience for the most part, even if you're getting some feedback that might not be what you necessarily want to hear. It's still a positive experience because you're getting real live good feedback and shit. So like, even if I'm hearing that like, yo, Boog, you upset me or you disappointed me or something like that, it's still a positive life experience because I'm learning from that. So like, I never shut anybody off from even telling me about myself if that's what the scenario needs to be.
And that's awesome because the DMC is never wrong. So I'm not sure. I can't say I know what you're talking about, but no, I definitely respect that.
No doubt.
All right, so I guess we're gonna wrap it up here. Like Boog said, you can see him on his own page, Boog_ACBA, and on the Articulated Comic Book Art Facebook page. I'm the DMC, and thank you for joining us this evening. Boog, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you, bro. You know that I talked about this. I've been making my rounds on shows for the past couple of weeks, and I'm going to be having a new segment or a new show on my channel called Table for Two very soon. So I got to get you on. It's just a one-on-one, just pretty much similar to this, just chopping it up with people in the community and
Nice.
learning about them. Aside from the toys, obviously the thing that will be the most talked about is collecting and displaying and stuff like that. But just kind of getting to know some people in the community or getting other people to know them, and also kind of pulling out some OGs and showing people who helped to put this whole shit together.
Yeah, definitely seeing some of the OGs would be really nice.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first, however many episodes, I think I need to definitely chop it up with OGs only,
Not Russ, though.
Not Russ, though. All right, no doubt.
All right.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
Guys.
All right. Thanks.